I thank the Week and Malayala Manorama group for giving me this opportunity to moderate one of the sessions. Honorable Raksha Mantri has already himself set the stage for the session when he spoke about the aero engine, and especially he made a mention about Kaveri engine. So that brings me straight to the point, the topic of discussion. That is the challenges of fighter engine. Where do we go after Kaveri? The panelists have been already introduced to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask only one question. Yeah, it could be answered by parts, but I'm going to start with Dr. S. V. Ramanamurthy, who's the Director GTRE, and then I'll come to Air Vice Marshal Suresh Singh. After that, Mr. V. Venkat Raju, who is heading the VEM Technologies, and for collaborative head, I'll request Mr. Anshuman Tripathi to throw some light. And there is one question given by Mr. Barua, which is meant for HAL, but I will try to handle it myself personally. All right. Starting with the first question for Dr. Ramanamurthy. The question is, proving to be holy grail, why are we not being able to design and develop a fighter jet engine till now? The reason thereof, and what happened to the Kaveri engine? What is the update? Thank you, Dr. Ramana.
A very good afternoon. A great pleasure and honor to be a member of the panel discussion. Thanks for the organizers. Now, I have been put two questions to me. One is, why are we not able to make an aero engine till now? What is the reasons? Then, what happened to the Kaveri engine? What is the update? Now, in my 5 to 7 minutes talk, I'm not defending any delays or blaming anyone. I want to bring the right perspective. Coming to in the world, only 4 nations could able to produce and flight-worthy engine. That is USA, France, UK and Russia. For examples, 2 I will take it. One is the EJ200 engine, which is 90 kilonewton thrust class, which was the technology's development started in 1982 under XG40 program. The EJ200 consortium itself started in 1986. Then the first production engine handed over to the services is in 2001. Almost it took 20 years and a rough budget of $2.5 billion. Similarly, I will come to M88. They started the component or technology development in 1978, and the first engine where they delivered to the services is in 1996, where it is also almost 2 decades with a $2 billion. What I want to say, in the world scenario, first they start with the technology development, where we will go ahead with a technology readiness level up to 5. Then you take the development of the engine, which the component development 5 to 6 years, another 1 decade or little bit more for the development of the total engine. In case of Kaveri engine, we started the low TRL levels 2 to 3, both parallel technology development and engine development we started. The main reasons for the delay are the design iterations and lack of material, manufacturing and testing infrastructure. Just I will amplify. Coming to the design iterations, that time we don't have the validated design tools, tested material data and the legacy tested information, which are very much required for proving the components. Otherwise, more design iterations, it will be going ahead. Coming to the, with the design iterations, some of the components, modules we redesigned. That time, to go ahead with a critical forgings, for example, where required 40,000 ton hydraulic press. We don't have in the India, we have to depend on the foreign. Coming to directionally solidified castings, high temperature brazing, creep feed grinding, similar. Then the critical LRUs, like fuel control system, we are dependent of the foreign vendors. So that also caused for the delay. With all the delays, we made the engine, we tested it to the max rating in GTRE test bed. Then we have to evaluate the full performance in the flight envelope. There is no altitude testing, the facility in India. We took to altitude test facility to the abroad. Then we tested. We encountered with, we call a fan flutter and afterburner screech. That we cannot validate in the test beds, on GTRE test bed, or we don't have the altitude test facility or component test facility for the fan, almost like a 20 megawatt, the fan or compressor test facility is required. So then once again, redo the detailed design, manufacture, test it. With all the things we tested, there is a shortfall, but we also could not give the certified engine to the LCA timelines. It is delinked. But we might have a pragmatic long-term policy to continue. Just I want to bring that thing. Then, in world scenario, the TRL levels up to 4 to 5, it will be done by the academia, R&D institutes. Here, that time, there was a limited synergy between academia, R&D institute, and even industry. That is, of course, that time. So, anything we should do as a national mission, integrating academia, startup, R&D institutes, and industry, then we can achieve that thing. Next, coming to the two optimistic timelines. As I said, it is 7.5 years to start with, but multiple PDC extensions have gone, and the money we spent for the Kaveri engine is almost like a $250 million, whereas the actual things I said for both the things, it is almost like a $2.5 billion. Then from our side also, at that time, we have gone with a professional program management, like multidisciplinary optimization, integrated product teams, system engineering approach, PLM, and all the things. Of course, we had to have accountability and responsibility. This is broadly, I can say, what is the reasons for the delay in Indian scenario. It is not only for the Kaveri engine, whatever the 25 kilonewton Hindustan turbofan engine or 1200 kilowatt Hindustan turbofan turbo shaft engine or any other things. This is the Indian scenario, the right perspective I want to bring it out. Coming to 2 more minutes, 2, 3, Kaveri engine, just I want to bring it out. Yeah. Coming to the, Kaveri engine, we could able to build 9 engines, 3,004 hours of testing we have done, 180 hours of altitude testing, 57 hours of FTB we have done. We completed the component life and safety related test, and one international engine has carried out the in-depth technical audit and confirmed that engine could be flight worthy. With that, we could, as I said, it is delinked from the LCA. Then we have gone with the Kaveri derivative engine. There, we could able to, in the altitude testing, demonstrated the performance, the operability with unrestricted carefree throttle movement. All, service people know what is the mean by unrestricted carefree throttle movement. We could able to complete 50 azimuth cycles, which gives the confidence on the structural integrity. Then we have completed with secondary power systems, whatever the coming on the RPSA, like we could able to do integrate, like MBAC-B, hydraulic pumps, IDZ, everything we could able to do, and we could able to do. What I want to say, we could able to get the expertise with know-how, know-why for 4th generation engine. With that, we could able to design, develop, 30 seconds, sir. We could able to develop small turbofan engine. Dr. CPR is there, that is his baby. We could able to fly with the cruise vehicle meeting all the mission requirements, that is the sea skimming and the terminal pop-up. With that, we could able to do even though, a smaller thing, first time we could able to do the turbocharger for our sister laboratory CVRDE, and we could able to qualified turbochargers, we could able to do that thing. And we developed the Indian ecosystem. Now they are part of the, most of them, part of the, supply chain of the foreign OEMs. So I want to say now we initiated the technologies like single crystal, powder metallurgy disc, advanced braid cooling, CMC, PMC, bypass ducts, and high efficiency turbo machinery, bolted blade retaining arrangement, so many things with the Indian industry and R&D right now we are going ahead. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you. So just to, get to the takeaways, as it was mentioned, there were certain issues that we started with the low technology readiness level. There were design alterations. The availability of infrastructure and technology was another handicap that we have faced with. Infrastructure, the test facilities was a big issue. Integration and collaboration with industry, startup, academia was not there. As I understand, all that has started now, and we are looking at a brighter future. I would request you to throw some light on the wet engine.
On the dry engine.
Wet engine. Wet engine. Is there any plan to come up to wet engine? Because what we hear and what we read is AMCA 110 kilonewton, that's the plan, but just about 30 seconds. Thank you.
Sure. Sorry. For the advanced and medium compact aircraft engine, generally we are telling the 110 kilonewton. That is, just I want to say IRA SLS. Because apple to apple we should compare like a 98414. It is 120 for ISA SLS. So as morning, everybody is telling, even our secretary also. So we'll be going ahead with maybe co-design, co-development with International Engine House, one of the things.
All right.
Then, but from our side, we already, as I said, started the, with R&D institutes and academia, the advanced technologies, we already initiated that thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramanamurthy. Thank you, for the insights into the Kaveri derivative engine. Right. Now that brings me to the next question, and that is for AVM Suresh Singh, sir. The question is, in your opinion, sir, what is the way ahead? As Director GTRE said, co-development, co-design with any international house, you know that TOT is not so easily forthcoming, sir. HAL has been producing engines for so long, but they don't have the full TOT. So in given circumstances and faced with the situation, sir, what are the solutions which are flagged just now by the Director GTRE? Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Well, I would like to say that aero engine is one of the finest creation by the human brains, and it provides the much needed speed and one of the most safest and reliable mode of transportation, and it has also provided the much needed speed, agility and flexibility to the air forces across the globe for decisive victory and speedy victory. At the same time, you must have seen that in case of natural calamities, Air Force is generally the first respondent in most of the cases at any part of the globe. Now coming to specific questions, that how do we overcome this problem? First of all, let's see. All these problems, whatever Director GTRE has mentioned, I sincerely appreciate, and excellent work has been done by GTRE. Somehow we could not get the desired result. That is unfortunate part. But there is always a remedial action, and unless we admit what has actually gone wrong, we will never correct ourselves. Never correct ourselves. Now, the hope that somebody will co-design and co-develop engine in India, let's forget about it. Discard it, delete it completely from your software, hardware, your mind as well. Nobody in the world is going to co-design and co-develop or give transfer of technology to you. Take it granted from me, 100% technology no one will give you, because all these OEMs, In fact, representative of one of the OEM is sitting in front of me, a good friend of mine. No one will give this technology to you. The reason being they have invested huge amount of money, time, and resources. And they do not want, if they give this technology to you, you are going to be the future competitor for them tomorrow. Why should somebody lose this revenue by any chance? So we have to stand on our own feet, number one. Let's find out if it can be developed in one part of the globe, it can be developed in India as well. If you see the development of engine, I will just cover in 2 minutes, that the first engine, which was developed by Mr. Frank Whittle, rather submitted his patent was in 1930. Another research fellow in Germany, Mr. Hans von Ohen, he submitted his patent 5 years later in 1935. But Mr. Ohen was employed by one of the company, German company, Henkel Corporation, which was one of the largest aviation company in those days. Within 2 years, he got organizational support. Within 2 years, he assembled his prototype engine. Of course, the engines were much simpler at that time. And it was flight tested in 1939. Whereas in case of Frank Whittle, he was not having organizational support. Finances also, he invested his own money. He was Air Force, Royal Air Force pilot and engineer. And he has taken loan to start fabricating even the first engine. And then second engine, W2, he had planned. During that time, General Arnold from USA came to Britain, and they were the hardware suppliers to Britain. So he asked this inventor as well as the engine and planned for the next engine also, that immediately you should move to General Electric and we will refine it further. When he went to General Electric took about 6 months and they studied this engine and idea. They developed their own jet engine A1, the first engine by General Electric in those days, somewhere in September 1942. Thereafter, these gentlemen came back to Britain. Britain Ministry of Defence ordered 100 engines for Meteor aircraft. For that, they placed order on another company known as Rover's Cars. Rover's Cars could not supply in 1 year. Powerjet wanted to give technology, but they were not ready to absorb technology. So Rolls-Royce was roped in for jet engine production. After Rolls-Royce took over, they produced the first engine, Welland, then Derwent, then Nene, and incidentally, all three were on the reverse name in United Kingdom. Probably the GTRE also got inspiration from there, and we named our first engine as Kaveri. Notwithstanding that, the third engine, Nene, became very successful. Immediately after Second World War got over, British sold 10 engines to Russia. Russia gave 2 of the engines to Klimov plant. They studied the engine, dismantled the engine, they developed their own engine, VK1. So you can see the original developer was Britain, reverse engineering by US and reverse engineering by Russia in those days. But then, aero engine is never perfect machine. Even if you install it, you do whatever testing you want to do, whether on ground, in the air, altitude, or maybe under the sea, it is never perfect. Even the most latest modern engine Leap 1, Leap B, and Leap C, and by Pratt & Whitney, PWJ, 1000G and 1500G. All these have serious problem and large number of failures took place in the air. Fortunately, all these transport aircraft are twin engine, so we did not go through the crash. Even then, 2 of the Boeing aircraft, Max 737, which met with accident, it was primarily because of the engine installation and mistake in the angle of attack system. But who was punished for that? Who was fined for it? Hardly any action. So we have to have faith, trust, do most of the simulation. These days simulation tools are available. So whatever you could do 20 years back, in 6 months' time, probably it can be done much faster now. Then coming to engine development all over the world, if you see, it has been developed by the private companies with government funding, because it has got long gestation period, and it is not possible for any private entity to invest from his own money and wait for the return. So government must invest the money. GTRE has done exceptional job, I will say, but now onwards. You have taken 40 years time, and the nation and media has been very kind to you. Let me be very frank and free and frank. Now is the time when you be the technology partner, R&D partner, and let the consortium be formed from the top 4 or 5 companies in India. These companies each can have one major component, 5 major components, airframe, engine, avionics, something like that. They can have 4 or 5 sub-components, divide the entire engine into 20 parts, and give it to the small and medium industries, who will actually carry out the fundamental research and development, testing, as well as integration, and they will make the test rig also for individual component. And this consortium will be only the integrator, final testing, and out. Here I will say that the entire investment should be done from Government of India, and a mission aero engine should be launched. Complete funding from Government of India. Consortium lead partner cannot change once he has accepted it. The other partners can change on risk and revenue basis. The finest example of this consortium partnership is International Aero Engine V2500, which has become very successful. Almost more than 5,000 engines are flying in the Indian sky international sky anytime. Then second is EJ200, as Director GTRE has just mentioned. So, and GTRE can be R&D partner and technology partner for this consortium. Consortium can be from the Indian industry. Ministry of Defence can select any 5, or let this consortium be monitored from PMO directly in line with ISRO. If we have to develop engine, then we have to go all out. It has to be total commitment, dedication. It will not be banking only on carrot and stick. So let's move forward and take it granted from me, each and every one. I don't think anyone should have even single doubt that you can get 100% technology. In aero engine domain, either it is 0% or 100%. No 70, 80, 90%. If the engine fails in the air and you say it was 99.9% serviceable, it will not work out. Probably it will crash and people will die. So, lastly, I would like to request sincerely that the Secretary DRDO, Director GTRE, you accept the role and take the lead as a technology partner and R&D partner for the Indian industry, and pave the way for Indian industry to take the lead, because the country is not ready to wait for another 40 years for development of this engine. And this engine, 110 to 120 kilonewton, this engine should be developed, turbofan engine should be developed primarily for the fighter combat aircraft, and then with certain changes, incorporation of additional fan engines and incorporation of additional turbine stages, the same can be utilized for freighter aircraft, military freighter aircraft, then further refined, and it can be put in single aisle aircraft like Boeing and Airbus, 320 and maybe 737 cities. So this is what I have to say, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for all the encouragement that you have brought in, and you have shown the positivity in your opinion. You have spoken about the first thing, the spirit, that it can be done. There is nothing which cannot be done. For the way ahead, you have recommended the consortium where lead agency continues to remain the same for testing and integration. Other partners can change, and you have given certain examples. Actually, you gave a very beautiful historical perspective that how engine was developed initially. Now that we have the technology partner or the industry represented here, I would request Mr. V. Venkat Raju to express his opinion on the Indian industry's capability. What would be the likely budgeting, timelines, and do you think that you need a collaborative approach with a foreign vendor, and how will you make it possible? Over to you, Mr. Raju.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I think Ramanamurthy garu spoke his efforts, whatever GTRE made over the 40 years. So VEM is also incidentally a 40 years old company. I can say I'm not going to talk from the VEM perspective, from the industry perspective. I believe from then to now, industry has transformed. We have actually gained a lot of knowledge in system engineering, system integration, and process automation, rather the special understanding on the materials, expertise in building the test equipments, and also some of us have good engineering strength. Maybe in the case of VEM, we are almost close to 800 engineers in multidiscipline areas. So with the large infrastructure for manufacturing. So I can say industry is ready. We have whatever Ramanamurthy garu said, the deficiencies that time. Those deficiencies are not there. We have a lot of proficiency in the design tools and analytical tools. That way, the simulation of the engines can be much faster. That is one perspective. That means our industry readiness in the design side. And similarly, industry readiness on the manufacturing. We're able to handle components for the GTRE development as an industry, also for HAL, and also for the global equipment manufacturers, OEM manufacturers. So that way, a lot of precision manufacturing is available in India. Besides that, I want to add a few important points. If there are special components and the special equipment required, in India in a position to build those equipments. So that way, on the manufacturing front, we are really ready. Similarly, we also have good exposure in handling the fuel systems. That is another key area in the engine, and also on the reliability front. Now, most of our, at least handful of companies are 40 years plus experienced in this field. That way, we have experience in producing reliable parts, and today we are all grown to systems. That way, the engine can be handled by the private industry. Also, we have the capacity to produce, like Air Chief Marshal Chaudhary garu said, we need to have surgeon capacity. So that way, we are actually having an advanced planning for having the capacity, ready capacity to support any surgeon capacity. Another important aspect is the special processes, as I told you. Then we have good facilities. Next is the testing. Maybe testing we may not be able to handle completely by the private industry. Needs government support, especially high altitude and other critical test facilities. On the material science front, I think that way we still need the government support. Then only we can, I think, we can take up the real indigenous development of an aircraft engine. Then another few points you have also given me. One is that is the foreign collaboration is the solution for the aircraft engine development or a fighter engine development? Strategically, no, because I don't think anyone would give a true technology and co-development opportunity to Indian entities. That way, maybe if India succeed in negotiating to a great level, whatever is possible for meeting immediate tactical requirements, yes, we should. And then for the Indian way, I think there's the next question. I think my co-panelist is going to address that. On the cost front, my estimation is about 12 to 15,000 crores is a requirement. Not only I'm talking about a development, we need to productionize and produce the numbers. Numbers are again the key. The third is, I mean, on the development timelines are concerned, I think we need about 10 to 12 years. This is, because I suggest, you know, I think we're all worried about timelines. I request, since Raksha Mantri is also is intending to develop this engine in the country, I think the early decision making of developing an engine at a policy level is most important, because we can't overnight build an engine, because testing time itself, it will be over 5 years. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you very much, Mr. Raju, for once again showing us the path and giving us the confidence that civil industry can do it without any foreign collaboration. Now I would request Mr. Anshuman Tripathi, who I would consider an entrepreneur and a think tank. He has been associated with the NSAB. You may like to express your opinion on re-engineering and any more aspects that you think would be helpful in indigenous engine development. Thank you very much. And be real quick, I would request for that.
Thank you, Air Marshal Saab. Thank you, the week, for having me here. I think I'm the last thing that stands between you and your lunch. So, we have another panel? We have a bunch of things standing before your lunch, so bear with me. For those who don't know me, I'm an international consultant in aerospace and defense. In 2017, I was part of the team that organized the Paris Air Show. We showcased 100 startups, including a flying car, which is actually there from a company called Aeromobile from Slovakia. Coming back to being here, I'm very thankful to the Indian leadership to have given me this opportunity to work in India and contribute to my own country. I would start by giving an example, a case study, a quick one, of a company called Nokia. Many of you might have back in the day used a Nokia cell phone. The last CEO of Nokia, before it was bought by Microsoft, was a guy named Stephen Elop. In his last press conference, he actually cried with tears and he said, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." He was talking about how Nokia lost to the iPhone and Apple. I think it's a very apt statement to state, and it is akin to the situation we have right now with jet engines in India. We did nothing wrong. Everybody put in their best efforts, but we still don't have what we need. Now, we talked about which are the top 4 countries which have made jet engines, but they made those engines decades ago. How are people today working on making new engines? How are new countries getting those technologies is what we need to look at. Sir talked about the opportunity space which was utilized by Russia, United States, UK, Rolls-Royce were the original makers. We got all that. But we have our friendly neighbor which was able to leapfrog in technology and come up and produce a plane which today is the only competitor to the F-35, China. And I've spoken about this on many fora. How was China able to make a stealth fighter? They did not have technology from outside. They did not do a G2G as we would like it to be. They were able to do it because they hired talent. Now, if I ask you, and this is open information, you can Google it also, who's the father of the Chinese stealth technology, the stealth fighter jet? Some of you have been, are in the audience who've heard me speak. For those who haven't, you would be shocked to know the person who's made the stealth fighter jet technology for China is a Parsi chap from Mumbai. Yes. His name is Nausher Gavadia. And he helped China make the fighter jet. How did that happen? Now, this gentleman used to work in one of the American companies which had the stealth technology, and after he superannuated, he started his own consulting gig, and China hired him to make the technology for them. Was that reverse engineering, re-engineering, new engineering? That's his part of the game. China said, sir, you're the guy who knows how to do it. Here's the money. Please come in and do this for us. History repeats itself. We have had our own Kurt Tang in the past who came in and helped us make a jet engine, a jet plane. Marut was there. And then the jet story sirs, AVM sir and all know much better than I do. So what we need right now is to be able to get talent. GTRE, DRDO, Kamath sir was here some time back, have all spoken about how they have lost talent to the private sector. But we still need a framework to be able to get talent from the outside into our organizations, to be able to work together and create technology. Right now it's a one-way street. We can lose, but if we have somebody who's of Indian origin, sitting in the United States, might have worked on the F-35 program or have worked on any major program, and wants to come back and say, I will not charge you $1. Let me just do it for you because I grew up in this country. I went to the United States and I did blah, 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 and I'm done. How many people would allow that to happen? Now I'll give a second example because he's already picked up his mic. I know he's going to say you've got only a minute left. I'll give another example. At the peak of the pandemic in 2022-2021 time frame, most of us might have skipped a very interesting piece of information. In Spain, there was a company called ATP Aero which had a fighter jet manufacturing facility which was making the Euro Typhoon, which went for sale. When it went for sale, it had all the infrastructure it was requiring to make the Euro Typhoons. They used to, and many other jet engines and stuff has been made out there. That entity in Spain by ATP Aero was sold for $1.5 billion to a private equity entity called Bain Private Equity of the United States. Now we in India have been talking here, we have a panel and respected seniors and fellow colleagues are sitting in the audience and saying we need to make jet engines. We didn't even bid for it. Forget bidding, we don't even have an infrastructure or a private equity entity which can go on and make a bid for such a entity in Spain or any other country. We don't have a private equity entity which goes and buys technologies outside India. And it doesn't have to be jet engines. It could be something as simple as a coffee making machine. But we don't have that. So the two ways that I think that we should actually look at, which is the contemporary ways of making technology today, is hire the talent. And hiring talent is not something new. If today Ramanamurthy Saab wants to have good furniture made in his house, he will get 5 guys to come and say, okay, who will bid for it? And he'll say, have you made this before? And the guy who's done it multiple times says, yeah, this is how it is done. This is how I will do it for you. This is how much time it will take. This is how much money it is done. And here are my previous clients who you can get a recommendation for. And he'll say, fine, come make it. So similarly, there are right now tons of people, and you know, with the blessings of the Almighty, of Indian origin as well, who have a lot of this talent available, which we can utilize. And if we can actually put a private equity entity together, we can actually go and probably buy out bulk and blocks of those technologies and bring them over and help our fellow panelists, GTRE and VEM and everybody else, put these technologies together much faster than we are thinking right now. All the timelines that we're thinking can be shrunk. And with that, I'll end my my chatter. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So the last question, 1 minute, and summing up 1 minute. The question for HAL was that why HAL has not been able to make engine if they have been producing engines for last 15 years. Well, it's not possible because 100% TOT is not given. This is very clear. So we should not hold HAL responsible for that. Associated aspect is that our chairman and secretary DRDO, one study was done for reverse engineering or re-engineering of AL31FP Su-30 engine. I would request MOD to take note of it, and I would request we have to review that after 15 years once we have completed the indigenization of AL31FP engine. What is the way ahead? What are we going to do with that engine? Will the Air Force still have a requirement? Will we be able to utilize that engine for any of our platforms? Will we have the export potential? These are the three questions, and probably services should be part of it, the study. I would like to quote Admiral Arun Prakash. He had said in 2019, 3 factors have contributed to the sorry state of affairs vis-a-vis Kaveri. That is overestimation by DRDO of its capabilities compounded by reluctance to seek advice, inadequate project management and decision-making skills of its scientists, and exclusion of users, the military, from all aspects of the project. It's not me, it's somebody else has said. That is almost 6 years ago. I have taken it down from one of the magazines. So that brings me to summing up. Well, Mr. Anshuman Tripathi has said we have the GCC, the Global Capabilities Center. We are calling ourselves the leaders. We are evolving leader. Why don't we get talent from them? In other words, he said beg, borrow, steal, do re-engineering or reverse engineering, do come what may, but we have to reduce the timelines and make an engine. All stakeholders are here. The Ministry of Defence is here, Department of Defence Production, JSNM Air, DRDO Director, TDF is here, former Director GTRE, the present leadership, the military strategic leaders, thinkers, everybody is here. My request is that we have to do it. Earlier we do it, better it is for us. With that, I would sum up because some eyes are staring at me for last 15 minutes. Thank you very much.